Tough to transition from that, but thank you so much. I would like to introduce our honored guest, Mr. Ricklef Beutin, who took over the position of Deputy Chief of Mission at the German Embassy in Washington, D.C. in July 2019. Prior to that, he was visiting fellow in the Europe program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. Before coming to the United States in 2018, he served as Chief of Staff to German Federal Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel. Between 2011 and 2017, he was Chief of Staff to several state secretaries of the German Federal Foreign Office. From 2015 to 2016, he headed the Division for the Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe, OSCE, and served as Deputy Head of the Task Force for the German OSCE Chairmanship in 2016. Previously, he served in the German Foreign Office in several positions, including Head of the Division for Parliamentary and Cabinet Affairs, and Deputy Spokesman of the German Permanent Representation to the EU. Between 2005 and 2007, Mr. Beutin was seconded to the EU Commission's Policy Planning Division, Bureau of European Policy Advisors, as a foreign policy analyst. He holds an MA in International Affairs from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University, and a degree in law from the University of Bonn in Germany. Thank you very much for coming. Please welcome Mr. Beutin.
Dean Payne, thank you very much for these kind words of introduction. President Garvey, George Horn, Assistant Secretary Destro, Professor Sillin, President Martinez, President Wessels, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, and especially students. I'm honored and I'm humbled to have been invited today on this occasion to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi death camps. One of them, of course, and this is a holiday and a day of commemoration in Germany these days, January 27th, the liberation of the death camps in Auschwitz-Birkenau. Every one of you is aware of that. The name Auschwitz-Birkenau stands for the murder of at least 1.1 million people, most of them Jews, and as such it has become a symbol of all the abhorrent crimes against humanity that the Nazi regime, that Germans perpetrated all over Europe. For all of that, German responsibility does not expire. These were the words of the German President Steinmeier just a few weeks ago at Yad Vashem. And he stressed that the words "never again" also entail that, and I quote him, "there cannot be an end to remembrance." Of course, I couldn't agree more, and I think I'm pretty certain that all of you feel the same way. But how do we ensure that? How do we make sure that there is no end to remembrance? Because when we look at our societies today, when we look at political discussion, if we look at social media, I think we should be under no illusion that it is not enough to just have the pictures of Auschwitz stuck in our minds. It is not enough that to trust that time has no power over these memories. As said the Russian soldier, Alexander Vorontsov, when he came to the camp in Auschwitz and filmed these, and some of the images that we have in our mind are actually from his film. So if the pictures are not enough, what can we do to ensure that our societies are vigilant enough to prevent, in Germany or any other place, frankly, around the world, that we spiral into dictatorship, into war, into a moral abyss that we saw in Nazi Germany, and into something as horrific as the Holocaust? Well, if you allow, I would like to again quote President Steinmeier from the other speech that he held 2 weeks ago on for the commemoration of January 27th, when he said, we will find new forms of remembrance for a young generation. A generation that asks, well, what does history have to do with me and with my life today? And he gave sort of a recipe saying that we need to retrace the long paths that led to the gates of Auschwitz. And I think when we open this exhibition here today, Lawyers Without Rights, Jewish lawyers in Germany under the Third Reich, we are doing just that. We are retracing some of the very early steps that the Nazi regime took to undermine the rule of law, to segregate society, to single out Jews, and ultimately to condemn them to annihilation. Because we all have to remember that these were very early steps. Hitler came to power at the end of January in 1933. The decree by the Prussian Justice Commissioner Hans Kerrl that refused Jewish judges, prosecutors, and lawyers access to Prussian courts effective April 1st of 1933 was, well, published only 2 months later after Hitler came to power. And then subsequently, German lawyers who happened to be Jewish were all barred from their profession. So in hindsight, I think we have to say that these early steps to pervert the rule of law through legal means, through laws, decrees, administrative decisions, they belong to the first steps leading towards Auschwitz. And the exhibit that you have the chance to look at outside shows us details of lives and fates of individuals, distinguished lawyers, Jewish faith, men and women alike. But at the same time, it also documents the injustice done to the rule of law, the injustice done to human dignity overall, that in fact was a stepping stone towards the catastrophe of the Holocaust. And I have to say, as a representative of Germany and as a lawyer, it pains me beyond words how little the rule of law counted and how the law effectively was used in my country to enable the most heinous crimes and unspeakable atrocities. And how much we lost in intelligence contributions to society in every field, culture being one of them, and we were just witness to that. This exhibition does not come to Washington, D.C. for the first time, but sadly, its message has not gone out of date, quite the contrary. With anti-Semitism on the rise in my country, but also in many other places around the world, the exhibition is as timely in 2020 as it was when it was first curated in Germany more than 20 years ago. And it is as timely as it was in 2012 when I think it came to DC for the first time. So I want to thank those who've made the exhibition possible once again here in DC, the American Bar Association, the German Federal Bar, and of course the Catholic University. And thank you all, presidents of these institutions and all your collaborators for making this possible. I would like, of course, after the contribution by Judge Horn about a family that was actually touched by what the Nazis did, I want us to open this exhibition as a commemoration of the liberation of the death camps, and at the same time have us understand it as testimony to our efforts to educate, to stand up against anti-Semitism, stand up against extremism, political extremism, and to protect our democracies, protect rule of law. Because, and President Garvey said this, and you, President Martinez, hinted at it as well, it is up to the people to take care of it, take care of democracy and rule of law. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you for having me.